doing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. Check, we Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flair, sun up, baby.
Yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the swag, pull up where you at. No cap if the Brody is speaking the soft facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he off of the leash. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on? Once again, happy Wednesday, hump day. Everybody's off of work. Everybody chilling, kicked up, got your feet up. You know what I'm saying? Midweek vibes, I feel you. And do what Miss Glenn said. When you come in my crib, wipe your feet, get the likes up. Get the likes of. Shout out to my boy Los for hooking me up with the jersey. Got me a custom made jet. You know what I'm saying? It was a pretty penny, but I love it. Appreciate you, Los. Appreciate you. All right. Listen, you already know what it is. It's the return of Eric Dooley. That's how we doing it, and it's no way possible. Hold up, let me get my stuff set up. You know what I'm saying? All right. There's no way possible. We can talk anything Southern. Okay, we can't talk about anything Southern. The powerhouse. Okay, without my boy Perry Wade.
We ready, baby.
Right.
We ready for Saturday, baby. This all you gonna see.
So, yeah, what y'all to New Jackson State?
You never seen this before. That's all. That's why. That's all. You never seen this before. You never been in the stadium and saw all this right here, that blue and gold, baby.
Y'all look like a knockoff Chargers. That color is just
Hey, whatever. We was around before the Chargers. We were founded in 1800s, baby. The Chargers, we was around before them.
Ooh, that color just baby blue. Was that Carolina blue, baby blue, sky blue? What we doing?
We like a lot of blues, if you can.
I'm petty.
That's funny. That is.
Hey,
But hey, man, listen, I'm happy. You guys got the win finally. You know what I'm saying? You come back on here doing some stuff. But before we get to the game and do a little recap, because I know you're just eager to talk about all the style points they gave me that I asked for. But I wanted to get into the other school and the drama that they got going on with their AD being fired. All right, their AD is being fired. But this is what the kicker is for me, because I said this months ago that he should have been gone. Said it months ago. I'm not going to call myself Negro Dominus, but hey, it is what it is. This is what profound me. This is what Dr. Roof said, right? This is what Dr. Roof said. Dr. Roof said, a person who named him to the position, I was his biggest fan and supporter. Unfortunately, from many different constituents, supporters, students, staff, everybody. Just say everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. She broke it down. Supporters, students, staff, the athletics committee, and others for months. For months. I have been talking about it for months. Have been hearing about the fact that things were not functioning well in the department and it was causing severe problems for our athletes. Culminating 2 weeks ago when the football team went to Alabama State. They arrived at the airport and there was no plane to take them to the game. They waited 5 hours for a plane to come to transport them. Nevertheless, they won the game. I keep asking, how did that happen? Because they had a horrible experience. I'm not prepared to see our students and coaches go through that kind of thing because we don't have the adequate controls in place, adequate methods in place to make sure things are done in a timely, effective way. We had no choice but to set this on the right course and do it as quickly as possible. I take full responsibility as the president and have to make the decisions when it's necessary. Perry White, your take.
I think maybe this was just a last straw. I think it went deeper than this. Talking to some people from Prairie View, I think some alums and the so-called boosters already similarly had an issue with him. And I think the bigger issue was not only winning the Commissioner Cup, but what's next for Prairie View athletics? What's your plan? What do you have that's going to help enhance this athletic program compared to what's already there? And I think him not having a comprehensive plan for people to truly see a direction and a goal, I think that really hurt him in the long run when you look at this position. And then this right here is what they say was the straw that broke the camel back. They just had to find something. If it was going to be something, this was going to be it right here. Because anybody that knows Dr. Ruth, she's not really too hands-on when you talk about the athletic side of things.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, she's academia. She come from a Ivy League background, and so she's focused more on the educational standpoint. But I think when you constantly get complaints from people, from athletic supporters, and you realize athletics is number one when you're talking about getting funding to the school, when you talk about donations, people showing up and doing things, it just seems to be it was too much of that, and she finally had to find a reason to pull the plug on it.
I'll say this, and I agree with you. I think it's the last straw because before the season started, the golf team, I believe, didn't have a coach for a whole year while being on the golf team. And if I'm not mistaken, they had a plane. They came back from a trip and had no ride to pick them up from the airport. They just totally forgot that they didn't have anything in place for them to come back. And I think it happening to the football team is what really took. I mean, golf is like, yeah, that's bad, but it's golf, and not many people are like advocates of the golf program. I love golf, by the way, but I think this having to your football team, I think there's just no excuse into that. And this is what one thing I can say. I appreciate Dr. Ruth cutting her losses. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and allowing this to continue to happen down the road and to keep having this happen over and over in different sports. That just shows a lack of judgment. But Dr. Ruth said, no, sir. She said, I've been hearing whispers. She said, I've been in the weeds. I heard it through the grapevine. And then this happened at the end of the day. Shout out to Dr. Ruth for cutting the head off the snake and getting Mr. Tellers from the crib out of here. You know what I'm saying? I think
at the same time, he may have thought maybe he was a little bit smarter and better than a lot of people around there. A lot of Prairie View people that I have heard from, well, I won't say a lot, but the few that I did hear from, they wanted him to be more out front in terms of being the athletic director, not so hard to get to the access, to try to get a comprehensive plan to try to get more information. He was real quiet. Even you look at the coaching search. I mean, it seemed to turned out well so far in the season, keeping Bubba McDowell in and naming him the head coach. But a lot of people wanted to know what was going on with that. And I think a lot of times he just didn't seem to be the communicator. And I think when you're in a role as athletic director, you have a lot of people that want to be communicated to. And unfortunately, with him not being such of a good communicator, I think ultimately that's probably what hurt him the most.
I totally, listen, man, I talked to some ADs and it's all about shaking hands, kissing babies. It's a customer service based business at the AD position. And if you just want the title and not the work, it's not for you. It's not for you. It just is not. You got to shake some trees, get some people donations, money, people involved in the programs. Got to do it. All right, let's go. Let's switch gears and let's talk about this recap of the 59-3 slacking. What do y'all say with that? Is it womp womp? Is it almighty Jaguars? I always hear J-Mac saying some stuff. So what is it when the pom-poms come out? What's being said?
I'll let you see next week when you come to town, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll save it for you. I don't want to spoil it and give you these expect. You have to see it for yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Just don't give me no baby blue. It doesn't look baby blue doesn't look good on me. So I'll take a pom-pom though. Baby blue don't look good on me. 59-3, P. You watched the game. You text me. What were your takeaways from the UAPB game?
As much as I like this game, and you asked for those style points last time we talked, I thought this game would be a little bit closer. And for all the reasons, I mean, Southern gave me a reason after that loss to Texas Southern to think that perhaps this could be closer. Seeing what UAPB did just the week before against Alcorn State gave me a reason to think it would be closer. But when you look at the game time decision and from UAPB not starting Skylar Perry, Skylar Perry seemed to have had an injury. Not saying that could have made it that much difference, but I think the turnovers were huge in this ball game. When you look at what UAPB was able to give Southern for easy return, and Southern took advantage of it. I think when you looked at Bashawn McCray for Southern, you remember what we talked about? I said which quarterback was going to determine this game and who's going to cost the terms the most turnovers. I thought it was either going to be Skylar Perry or Bashawn McCray. Skylar Perry threw an interception in this game. Bashawn McCray threw an interception in this game, but Skylar Perry did not play. They put in a second string, a redshirt freshman from Tennessee, number 14. Can't think of his name right now.
Jalen McCow.
Jalen McCow, thank you. He comes in and seems to have a decent first quarter. But Bobby Bowden once said, and I listened to him in a speech talking about his quarterback, He had to prepare a third string quarterback one time for the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. He said, my first string quarterback slept through a final exam, and unfortunately at Florida State, you miss an exam, you're automatically not eligible to play in the bowl game. His second string quarterback had gotten kicked off the team for gambling, so he prepared his third string quarterback as best as he could for that Sugar Bowl against Georgia. And he said Georgia was really good. He said, but the thing was, when they first started the game, his quarterback led the team down the field and took a 7-3 lead over Georgia. But slowly as the game went on, going into the second quarter and the third quarter, his quarterback kept throwing interceptions. And as the interceptions started to pile up and Georgia started to take more advantage of it, he said he realized at that point the game had caught up to him. The game speed from that practice speed had finally caught up to him. And I think at the time, was it Anquan Bolden that was at Florida State, the wide receiver?
Probably.
Said he walked up to since the quarterback had threw so many interceptions, said he walked up to the quarterback and said, hey, man, you just let me know which free safety you about to throw it to so I can go intercept the next time. So I think that's what happened with UAPB, man. The game just caught up to the backup quarterback. He gets hurt, and then you look at the third string quarterback comes in. And for UAPB, with an offense that was already struggling with an identity, it didn't help out anymore. And Southern took every advantage of it. And you saw better play from Bashawn McCray, and you saw Southern's defense. How about Jason Dumas finally getting an opportunity to play a full game, named the SWAC Defensive Player of the Week, excuse me. And his impact was felt in this ball game, forcing pressure to UAPB, stopping UAPB in terms of the run game. UAPB didn't even get over 5 rushing yards in this ball game. And you saw Southern's offense become balanced. It didn't take a lot this day because of the field position, but Bashawn McCray, I thought, made better decisions, seemed a little bit more comfortable, slowed it down. I still think we haven't quite seen the potential of him yet, but I think what he had to do to manage this game was just right in terms of taking advantage of those turnovers from UAPB.
It's funny. The way Dooley felt about Texas Southern when they lost to that game is how I feel about Southern in this game. I really don't feel like offensively they did anything special. I think a couple plays I like that they countered what UAPB was doing, but to me this was all on Texas. This is all on Southern's defense. Southern's defense looked like, it just looked like a man amongst boys. It looked night and day from what you saw from Texas Southern. They had so much energy and so much. It just felt like the first play of the game, how it just looked like a jailbait screen to the quarterback. I said, this is going to be a long day. That's all I said. Once I saw that first play, and it looked like everybody was in the backfield. I said, yeah, UAPB's in trouble because these boys came to play today. So I think that was the biggest honestly, that was the biggest takeaway for me. I didn't think UAB defensively was going to do anything special to stop other than try to make McCray beat you.
Horrible day in terms of you preparing a quarterback for this type of game. I think that's when you have to look at Doc Gamble and that offense and that quarterback coach. If this is what you have to look forward to the future, even being a redshirt freshman, this guy's had opportunities to get in and get some games under his belt. But you have to do a better job when it comes, especially in this conference, to develop quarterbacks and get these guys to be ready. Because a lot of guys in this conference, let's just be real, probably wouldn't be quarterbacks at most schools. They would be just athletes. So, you got to do a better job of getting these guys prepped and ready each and every week, no matter whose number is called. I used to like the term next man up. And, preparation is everything. And I think for UAPB, they just wasn't prepped and ready for this game, and Southern took every advantage of it. And Doc Gamble has to be scratching his head because I'm sure he's not looking ahead into homecoming this weekend against Texas Southern after coming off a 59-3 loss on the road.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But and the funny thing is, I like the backup. I like the backup when I saw him at Oklahoma State. I thought he threw a great ball. I thought he had great touch. So I hate that this was his first game and this was the outcome of it, because I definitely think that kid has a future as a quarterback in the SWAC. But let's it is what it is. But this is how I was looking. When I thought it was going to be a game, I was like,
It was 7-3 coming out of the first quarter.
It got ugly quick. It got ugly quick. You know what I'm saying? I just like, yeah. All I could do was shake my head. All I could do was literally shake my head. It was pretty sad. But I want to touch base on, and it was a great topic that you brought up, hot seats. Coaches on the hot seat. Right?
That ass on fire.
But now the funny thing, though, is, P, when I was making the list and I started seeing people's records, like, some people I was like, hell yeah. And then some people I was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? After seeing the record. So,
let's start with those. Some people like, you don't know. Let's start with those guys.
All right. So I got to go with Terry Sims. You know, listen, he has like 2 losing seasons in 8 years. And he probably ends up with one now. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I think you give him one more year. You know what I'm saying? I know he's not gonna go 2-9. I don't believe they're gonna go 2-9. I hope they go 2-9. But you know, if he goes 5-7, you know what I'm saying, you know, 4-8, you know, or what, 4-7 or whatever, 3-8, whatever. I think you give him one more year to get it together. I think his record allows that. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. But you know, your opinion.
I think if anything would have saved them this year was that hurricane, unfortunately. And you know, in hearts out to prayers up to everybody over there in Florida that got affected by that.
Thanks.
You know, I know that's tough to deal with when you take a loss and damage and water and wind, you know, for anybody. I'm in Louisiana, so that very thing could have happened to us here. So, you know, I understand and much love to everybody out there. I hope anybody that was affected, you know, you get back on your feet and things work out. And as you saw, I saw video and pictures of Bethune-Cookman's campus, and it looked like it took a brunt of whatever that hurricane brought through Florida. And I think as that happened, you look at what Bethune-Cookman is dealing with. I think maybe that may be a saving grace of this season. I mean, if you look at that record, Coach Terry Sims has been a guy to have this team play well, especially once they got past Brian Jenkins at Bethune, who had a lot of success. And Coach Sims comes in and had been on the staff already for some years. But I think what you're looking for is, can he make that transition into the SWAC? I thought Bethune-Cookman would have made a smoother transition, especially considering the success that they had in the MEAC. They were always in the conversation each and every year of potential winning the MEAC. You know, it'd be something down the line where they would fall short, but they were always in the conversation. And I've seen the success the MEAC has had against the SWAC. So I thought maybe that transition coming over would have equated a little bit better. But then I think there's some off the field things going on in Bethune-Cookman athletics as well that a lot of people don't pay attention to, especially when you talk about the support and the necessary things that they need to be successful over there. And I think some of those off the field things, what we like to call in-house, could be affecting Coach Terry Sims, and why you see that record starting to change a little bit. And also remember, in this process, they former AD decided, you know, to move on, and he was there for a long time. So change in that position and change in the direction of athletics seems to be what's going on. And I think Coach Terry Sims is just a casualty to what's going on in terms of the lack of support and maybe the lack of funding over there at Bethune-Cookman right now.
You know, man, it's a big – I didn't think the transition for the MEAC would be that hard for Bethune nor FAM. If I'm being honest, I thought they had great programs coming from the MEAC. I mean, this transition has really seemed to get to Bethune, and it's really shocking to me that they can't get a foothold in the SWAC and get some easy wins, you know, that I'm expecting they should get. And they were my dark horse pick. I thought they had a lot of talent. I still think they have talent on that team. I just think it comes down to certain coaching and certain you know, offensive play calling as well, and especially the quarterback position. I don't understand why Jalen Jones is still the quarterback. I do not. But I do think he should get one more year. I don't know if his contract's up, you know, this year or not, but I definitely would give him one more year. Now, the next coach, a lot of people would say, you know, he shouldn't. in this one. Now, before I made it, I was like, yeah, Connell Maynard should be on the hot seat. But then when I was making it, I was like, there's no possible way he could be, because this is his first, this could possibly be his first losing season. There's no possible way you can put a coach like this on a hot seat when this is his first losing season. And my bad for the overall record. Of course, that's not right. I was rushing, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Oh, you asking me? Oh, I was looking at that overall record. I was sitting here adding.
Yeah, it's 12, 18, 25, 26, and 7, 12, 9, and 7, 12, 17. It's like 29 and 12 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Add up. I think with Connell Maynard, if anything, to be on the hot seat, I think his mouth is probably what gets him on the hot seat. Writing checks his ass can't cash. And ever since Deion Sanders has come into the league, and he won that, and of course, Coach Maynard won that abbreviated spring season. I think having a Quill Glass carried him a long way. Alabama A&M's defense has been atrocious. Can't stop anybody. Can't stop nothing. And they really didn't have the running game ever since, what was the kid named Brentley? I think that was the running back that was there.
Jordan Brentley.
Jordan Brentley. And he and Quill Glass complemented each other very well. That was a really good offense. And then you lose Brentley and then Quill Glass. I think now Alabama A&M trying to find its identity. But I think what goes into coaching is when you have good players like Quill Glass and Brentley, how do you recruit in order to where you don't see a quick drop-off to where you can keep that going? I think that was one of the things when I look at for, and I use this coach's name, Dawson Odoms, almost a decade of not having a losing record and losing guy after guy and being able to replace them. And they wasn't always names that you knew, but it was guys where you didn't see a drop-off. And I think for Alabama A&M, seeing that drop-off right after Quill Glass leaves and seeing the position that they in now. And then not only that, he ran his mouth, get more 5 stars. I don't forget. And getting embarrassed at homecoming last year to Jackson State. I think one of the things that has kept him around is the success he's had against Alabama State, because let's be real, the reason he would be on the hot seat, Alabama A&M has had plenty of chances even before the emergence of Jackson State to compete with Alcorn State for that SWAC Eastern Division title. And every year, it seemed to be the one thing that killed them with ending the season just not in position to win that Eastern Division title. And there were many years I thought Coach Connell Maynard and his team should have been there, especially with Quill Glass and all the success that he had. But once again, he didn't develop a good defense. This team never could quite get it together. And they had that one year where they lost on the road to Alcorn State. I think that was Alcorn's last year over in the East, and couldn't get it done to win the East. So you would have to possibly put him on there because he hasn't seemed to have gotten it done except for that one spring season, which a lot of people really don't want to put respect on it because of the games that were canceled, and you saw how short it was in terms of the games that were played. So that would be what I would put him on the hot seat for, running his mouth. Hey, if you run your mouth, you got to back it up. And I think for the falling short of expectations over the years, in which somewhere down the line, I thought his team could have got past Alcorn during their 6-year stretch of winning the East.
I look at, and a lot of people won't agree with this, but I look at Connell Maynard like is it, who's at Michigan? What brother? Is it John Harbaugh?
Yeah, Harbaugh that's at Michigan.
Yeah, Harbaugh. I look at him as a Harbaugh in Michigan, right? Because he makes you relevant, but you probably don't win the big game. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't, if I'm Michigan, right? If I'm Michigan, am I okay with winning 8 or 9 games this season and being in the conversation in the Big Ten? Or is Jim? All right, it's Jim Harbaugh. Thanks, guys. Or I fired Jim and then I don't know what I am anymore. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what Maynard is for Alabama. He's always going to keep you in relevancy. He's always going to keep you in that 7, 8, 9, might get a good year, go 9-3, 10-2, maybe, depending on how they schedule their records or whatever. And he'll get you there. But I think you're just always going to be in that 7 to 9 range with Maynard, which is okay in the SWAC. You're winning. You can't get mad that you keep bumping your head against Deion. You can't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? You just can't.
You know, there's a maybe with this. You know, I look at that 6-5. I look at that 7-5. Those were 2 seasons Alabama A&M were in the race with Alcorn. Then you get that spring season. Then you come out 7-3 last year. What you expect out of that 7-3? You expected to get a SWAC championship with Aqeel Glass last year. Aqeel Glass never won the East. He never played for a SWAC championship, only except for that small spring, in which I don't even put winning the East on that. And then I think what really hurt is him calling out Deion, and then the way Deion is showcased. Deion has come in quick in that East, and now Alcorn is gone. And I thought with Alcorn leaving the East, you bring in FAMU. I thought this was Alabama A&M shot to ascend to the top and take it over. But now you've seen FAMU and Jackson State both all of a sudden come in and pretty much bogart the East. And now Alabama A&M is basically like the distant cousin in that over in that division.
I just, to me, yeah, I get what you're saying. It just, when I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about the overall landscape in the SWAC, where right now it's Jackson State and everybody else, and that Jackson State is living on Deion and understanding that ride is not going to be there forever. If I'm A&M, I'm not going to let Maynard go, because I'm gonna wait this ride out. I'm gonna wait the wave out. Now, if Deion stays for another 5 or 6 years, then that's just probably a beast you're just never going to conquer. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds bad. It sounds like you're relinquishing it, but I don't know how well you out recruit Deion. I don't know how well this coaching staff is. DT's leaving. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know what the revamp looks for A&M, but I just don't think you give up an A&M. I don't think you give up a Connell Maynard because of his mouth. I just don't think that happens. I just, yes, you just talked yourself into some losses, but to be in the conversation in the SWAC East every year, I'll take that than being a UAPB, than being a Texas Southern, than being a Valley, than being Alabama State. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ain't no difference when you're not winning a division title and playing in the championship.
That's not how all SWAC teams look at it, though. That's not how
I get it, but when a guy's been around the way that he has been, and I'm not saying he should be fired, but I say it should be heating up. I mean, he's been around. He had an opportunity to get past Alcorn when they were in the East. The East didn't get no better now with Jackson. And when you're talking about Deion, how about Willie Simmons at FAMU? To me, that's the next biggest hurdle. Even if Deion leaves, you're still looking at FAMU who's sitting right there. And after that loss to Jackson State, I still thought, and it's actually turning out the way that I thought, that FAMU still had enough talent to finesse its way to a few more victories throughout the season. And I just look at this drop-off Alabama A&M is having with Aqeel Glass is gone, and that a lot of success was held off of Aqeel Glass, but you never won an East Division title. As long as you had that dynamic guy as your quarterback, and it doesn't seem like you won't probably win one anytime soon, as long as Jackson State is rolling the way that they are, and as long as FAMU, who just beat them, started being able to be in a position with Coach Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons lost Ryan Stanley. He brought in Rashawn, and hey, it may not have been pretty, but it was enough to continue to win games and compete, and even made it to an FCS playoff.
That's fair. That's fair.
All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I just think for Alabama A&M fans, him having a winning record and him winning the Magic City Classic is the two things that are going to keep him his job. Anything else is extra to me. I really feel that anything else is a plus for A&M fans. As long as he has a winning record and he's consistently beating Alabama State in the Magic City Classic, I think A&M fans are going to be like, we're good.
Hey, I'm not a Bulldog fan. I know some Bulldogs. Hey, more power to them. I don't know what they're going to do with this guy.
All right, next up on the hot seat, let me see.
Those were the maybes. Are we done with the maybes?
Those are the maybes. Those are the maybes.
Right, let's get ready for the. Oh yeah, hell yeah! Bring out the. We need a little bit more lighter fluid on his ass, because.
That baby need to be cooking. Go ahead.
Woo! Doc Gamble. I mean, I got a chance to see him in the spring. He surprised a lot of people. But I think when you looked at it, he got that win against Southern on the road. down here. Nobody had any film. Cedric Thomas, who was the head coach before Doc Gamble took over, had left to go to Southern Miss as a secondary coach. He went to go join Jay Hopkins, who was formerly at Alcorn State. And so when Cedric Thomas left, Doc Gamble was on the staff. Doc Gamble's a guy who had Division I coaching experience on the FBS level. Comes over to be the quarterback coach under Cedric Thomas at UAPB. He's named the interim coach, just like what Prairie View did this year. Didn't really do a coach search, just saw somebody from within and stuck with him. And I think with Doc Gamble, he caught a lot of people by surprise, especially in that abbreviated spring season. Their first game against Texas Southern had been postponed. They played Southern. Southern didn't have any film on them. But I think after that Southern game in which they beat Southern 33-30, the teams that they played, you start to see the gap get smaller and smaller and smaller to the point it almost reached the head when they took on Alabama State, in which a game that was ultimately called due to inclement weather. I thought Alabama State, if that game would have been played, would have beaten them.
Absolutely.
It just looked like Alabama State was the better team, and you can start to tell the more film that was out, the more you start to see the tendencies of Skylar Perry and that defense, the UAPB defense. I think teams closed in on it, and it ultimately caught up to them against Alabama A&M in the SWAC championship in that spring season. And one of the things that truly hurt them, relying on Skylar Perry too much. Skylar Perry was able to survive those 4 games going into 5 for a SWAC championship, but the entire season, I think it would have been a different story when you look at Skylar Perry having to take over not only the passing duties, but UAPB didn't have a run game, so Skylar Perry had to do a lot with his legs, and he was able to survive that during that spring, but you saw it catch up to him. They ultimately lost that game in the second half because of no run game against Alabama A&M. Then you come into the spring, and it was just, I think what changed it was that Alcorn loss. You're up big against, the fall. You're up big against Alcorn, and then you just get out coached by Fred McNair and allow Alcorn to come back and Felix Harper and that offense to really take advantage of those opportunities. And then as the season went on, I think the lack of depth and injuries began to really plague UAPB. And I think once you saw that, they had a victory over Lane College and one SWAC victory last year over Grambling. And they were playing wide receivers at DB against Grambling in that ball game. And then I guess if you were the AD at UAPB, you would look at this and say, well, let me give this guy a recruiting opportunity. Let me get this guy an opportunity to bring in a recruiting class, because clearly he took over in the spring. He had to come directly into the fall. We saw the depth wasn't there. Maybe these weren't quite the guys that he really needs, to have the program where he wants it to be. So let me give him an opportunity to get through a recruiting class and then come in this fall and we see where this guy can stand. You come in with a close game, 48-42 against Lane College. You get a victory over North America, okay? Then you go on the road and get whooped against Oklahoma State. You showed for a half of football that you probably had a team that could contend with any team in this conference. And then at 4 quarters, the depth, the lack of experience caught up to them and ultimately cost them against Alcorn State. And I think the depth and the lack of experience truly caught up to them when you looked at against Southern, because I think I read they had 2 or 3 linebackers out on top of Skylar Perry out in that ball game. And so, this team just doesn't seem to have it. And Doc Gamble, unfortunately, has to be the casualty in this, because if you're UAPB, you won your last SWAC championship in 2012. You won the Western abbreviated spring season. You're watching everybody else move forward. There's no way you're in a position to not see some form of increase in productivity of your program.
Man, I don't think you saved anything for me, so I'm gonna just
my bad. Because I like UAPB, man.
I know that's your school. Your mom graduated. That's your stomping grounds. Pine Bluff, the Arkansas area. Listen, you're Razorback. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Listen, hey, I'm not here to hate. I'm like, hey, cool, got it. For me, listen. And you danced on it, you tapped on it, but that Alcorn game, that's one of those games I would never forget, because there's no reason you're up 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3. I think you're up like 17 points. I think you're up 17 points, if I'm not mistaken. And you go cover 0 for the whole second half. You go cover 0. I've never seen that in my like most teams would just be like, yo, we're gonna play quarters, we're gonna play cover 3, we're gonna keep everything in front of us, and we're just going to tackle. You go cover 0 in the whole second half. To me, I was just like, damn, like you deserve to lose that. So for me, at that point, the field goal, him not kicking the field goal, and then him going cover 0 for the whole second half, that really was my. I really was like, I'm not a Doc Gamble fan. And listen, man, I'm just not seeing any life from UAPB. I saw a little bit against Alcorn, but it just seems like when it goes, it goes. Like when it goes bad for UAPB, it just takes a turn. It's just like, man, like you guys were here, and then it just drops. I don't know. I know you should be fired. But this is what I'm gonna say though. Who's coming to UAPB? And you got listen. I talked to a lot of kids over there. You have great facilities. A nice program, like stuff that would interest kids that get there. But what coach would want to come to UAPB?
And another thing about UAPB that I would say, man, you talk about the facilities, but UAPB is when you go to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, UAPB is like the lifeline of that city. It is what brings the economic drive to that city. And since Doc Gamble has been in this position, and even with Cedric Thomas, you start to see the fan support go down. And as the fan support go down, you don't have people coming from the surrounding areas that used to tailgate and enjoy being out there and supporting to go to line. So, they can give tickets away and people still not showing up. And I think as a head coach in a community like that, being a guy like Doc Gamble, you have to go out and sell this program to the community. And you got to find ways to get people to buy into what you're trying to do there. And when you don't do that, as well as not win games, you put yourself in a position like that, because who's going to fight for you when you're not even doesn't seem to be a guy of the people into the community, to where the community can at least say, hey, you were a good guy. Because I think that's what saved Monty Coleman for so many years at UAPB. He won that one SWAC championship in 2012, but he had some atrocious records. But he was a man of the community. He got out there. He was a faith-based guy. And a lot of people vouched for him, although he didn't win. They would say, well, man, he's a good guy, though.
Yeah.
I think with Doc Gamble, even if that, he's not even getting, he's a good guy, because a lot of people don't even know who this guy is to even come out and support him. And Pine Bluff needs UAPB to thrive and to win games, to be that economic driver for a city that's struggling and depends heavily on what UAPB brings to them.
I like that back pilot. I like Quentin Morgan. That's who's the head coach down there at Langston. I think he's doing a hell of a job. My question would be, man, I just feel like, I always feel like it's different when you're winning at a lower level and then you take that to a higher level. I don't know if it doesn't always translate. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But that's actually not a bad it's not a bad way to go, getting a guy from Langston who's currently undefeated. I think he has a total of like 6 losses in 3 years, something ridiculous like that. So, UAPB,
if I was them, I would go all the way outside the box. I don't even know if I would look in the Black College realm. For what they need, I would just think outside the box. I don't have a name, but I would do some real soul searching and some real looking out here to try to think outside the box to see what can we do to reignite this program and get this program. Because you look at the position that they in to recruit. You're next to Tennessee. You're next to Mississippi. You're right above Louisiana. You're next to Texas. And you got Oklahoma next to you. You got a region of ball players.
Yeah.
They are in a position. They're not in a bad spot when you talk about being able to recruit, as well as in-state in Arkansas. I would think outside the box and try to find somebody who can be a little bit more creative and get this team jump-started and get this program headed in the right direction.
Let me ask you this. Would you take a high school coach that has dominated Arkansas? Is that something you would look into doing, UAPB doing a high school guy?
UAPB did this in the 90s when they hired Lee Hardman, who was the head coach at Dalloway High School. Dalloway High School had, I think still to this day, the longest winning streak in Arkansas high school football. Lee Hardman won a pair of state championships, sent guys Division I, and had Dalloway High School a real competitor. And when UAPB caught the death penalty, they came out of it and joined the NAIA, and Lee Hardman was hired. Lee Hardman was successful early on. He took UAPB to a NAIA national championship, I want to say in 95 or in 96, and then UAPB joined the SWAC. Those early UAPB teams were really tough transitioning to the SWAC. They gave some teams in the conference that was traditional powers some tough times all the way into the early 2000s, but I think he started to fizzle out with Lee Hardman. I wouldn't be opposed to it because you saw them do this before. I wouldn't be opposed to it. You would just have to show me in terms of programming and what can you do to lead us, because I need at least a 5-year plan when you talk about UAPB. Absolutely. I don't want to have a good year and then you see me fall, because that's been traditionally what has happened to SWAC champions in this conference. You will have a team win a championship one year, and then the next year you're like, where are they? And then it was another team that would emerge. And I think for UAPB, you need a plan to traditionally keep you as a power. So you want to be a laughingstock, not even in your own state. And others around the conference would take you serious. Maybe people will want to travel to Pine Bluff and show up for that game. Maybe people will show up when Pine Bluff comes to their stadium and take it serious instead of just saying, oh, man, that is one I sit out on.
That's fair.
You want to increase your brand, and I think you got to find somebody to help increase your brand.
I like it. I like it. Next up, listen, let me start this one off. This Bama needs to be fired. Listen, if I could have made this image, if I could have made that hot image even bigger, I would have took up the whole freaking graphic. He needs to be fired. 0-11, 1-2, 3-8, 1-4. The 3-8s with Andrew Body's freshman year. And then 1-4, which unexpectedly, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I did not expect them to be 1-4. Absolutely did not expect them to be 1-4. But Clarence McKinley in the state of Texas at Texas needs to be fired. This program can be on the uprise with Andrew and Ladarius Owens. You get the right person in this position, you will have a mini gym of all the recruits that you can get in the state of Texas. But go ahead, this Bama needs to be fired.
I think it looks good, but everything that glisten ain't gold. And I think for Texas Southern, it looks good. They're in Houston, right? They're in the state of Texas, right? But they don't get the support from their alumni. They don't get the support from the local fans, the local people. And I think as much as you look at Texas Southern, it didn't just start with Coach Clarence. Every coach before him has had issues winning there, except Johnny Cole. And you saw what Coach Johnny Cole had to do, and they ultimately stripped them of that SWAC championship. He went way out his way to try to get players there. But I think Texas Southern looks for a lot of people like it's this diamond in the rough, but ask every coach that was there before. Nobody's been able to be successful there. As much as you would think Texas and Houston, nobody's been able to do it. And I think a large part of that is just not having the support from alums and not investing truly into football. Texas Southern seems to want to invest into basketball. Football is second nature. And that football program has seemed to fallen behind in the backseat to basketball. And until Texas Southern as a institution and as an athletic department decide to want to take football serious, I think you will continue to see this because Texas Southern competes in every other sport. They're right there when you talk about in the Commissioner Cup hunt every year for a championship. But it's this particular sport that does not seem to get the same energy and the momentum that those other sports are getting.
My issue is this, is that, and I talked to a alum from Texas Southern who is literally the president of this and the co-committee of that, and you name an alumni group, this Bama's in it, right? I talked to him, and I said, my issue with Texas Southern is this, is that if you step away from Clarence McKinley, you have to have a lightning rod of an individual that incites your base. That just is what it is. You got to get somebody that excites your base. In this space, it's either one or two things. You either find a coach that coaches his ass off, doesn't really have a big name, he's a winner or whatever, you put him in that position, or you go get somebody that is a CEO and they can build a staff and build it. But something has to happen in this position. It has to.
I think the only person that they can use is Michael Strahan, man. That's it. That's it. Unless Michael Strahan say, you know what, I done made enough money. I'm going to go back and give back. I'm going to do what I can. Because he doesn't even take Texas Southern serious. You'll hear him talking about Jackson State before he does Texas Southern.
That's facts.
Unfortunately.
This is who I would like to see. This is my short list, right? This is my short list. My short list is number 1 is Kevin Sumlin. That is my short list. Kevin Sumlin. Or somebody associated with the Houston Texans. a former star from the Houston Texans. It could be the running back Arian Foster. It could be at
this point, let Slim Thug come coach the team, man.
Yeah, somebody say trade the truth. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a Arian Foster. Let me get an Eric Reed, a former Houston Texas player. Let me get an Andre Johnson. Let me get somebody who can establish that relationship with the Texans and continue to have it funded by the Texans. You know what I'm saying? Paul Wall, Slim Thug.
Anybody.
Somebody from Houston. Can I get some excitement? You know what I'm saying? They have Megan Thee Stallion for halftime. But I think, listen, man, I think for real, this could be a hidden gem if they got the right person in the position to spark excitement. I really think that I really think it can be turned around. But I also believe that Granger, the AD, has to believe in investing in that program. Somebody said Jerry Mack. That's not a bad look.
You know, it goes into, we can name all of these people, but I think once you get there, you realize how hard of a damn job it's going to be when you look at the lack of funding and going into what you have at Texas Southern. You know, it sounds good to throw these names at certain jobs, but you found out even with, let's just use Dion, for example, when he got to Jackson State. Before Dion, everybody would think Jackson State's a great job, right? You want to go be to the traditional power of the SWAC and try to reignite what they are. But I think when Dion got there, he realized when he looked around and we naming these names of people who you want to be successful, and he realized, man, there's a lot to be done. And if I don't do it myself, it probably won't get done. I'm going to have a lot of slack here, a lot of fight push back there. I think Texas Southern is even a deeper trench than that. When you look at the support, when you look at the funding that needs to go into that program, and just the name recognition that would have to go in behind having to win, improve, and showcase yourself. Because let's be honest, you in the state of Texas, Texas Southern seems like it's a hidden gem. But what you're going to do when you go to these Texas football players and they feel like their campus in terms of athletic facilities and their stadiums. I mean, you know, Texas high school football stadiums and the support that they get. It's hard to sell that, and then you bring them to Texas Southern, and they look around like this Division I.
Yeah, that's real.
I think that makes it truly hard for that program.
Better get some kids from Mississippi. Better get some kids from Mississippi, Louisiana. They don't know, because that Texas football life is different. It's just different.
They just don't invest well into football. They love their basketball and those other sports, but although they may have a nice size budget, when it comes to football, it just doesn't, that energy doesn't seem to be there. And I think they see that even with their fan base.
All right, last but not least, hot seat, Vincent Dancy at Valley. Now listen, this is how Clarence McKinley should be fired. Because if Vincent Dancy got more wins than you, oh yeah, you got to go, my boy. And y'all came in at the same time, got to go. Got to go. All right. They're currently 0-5. Last year they had a huge step forward, super competitive in a lot of games. They went 4-7. Everybody thought this was their year to take that next jump, to get it a winning record, a winning season under Dancy. They've always played hard. Valley teams don't ever usually quit, but I just feel like this year they feel a little overmatched. I don't know. I think the quarterback position is really, really hindering what they're trying to do going forward. But Vincent Dancy. Now I don't know who will want to take this job. Same thing with UAPB. Don't know who will want to take this job, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the Delta. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Man, when I tell you I love Vincent Dancy, I love this guy, man. I had an opportunity to meet him and talk to him, and I watch him in terms of what he does to get his teams to get up and play for him. And I love everything about this coach. I think if he gets somewhere with a program, maybe him going to UAPB would be a better fit. I would like to see UAPB try to lure him away from Mississippi Valley and give him better facilities and more urban area or more populated area and give him an opportunity to do something there. I think maybe Vincent Dancy might have a better opportunity there than what he's having at Valley. Anybody has a tough time at Valley, you know. Even Coach Totten came back and tried to coach at Valley and couldn't find some success. They haven't really had any success since the legendary days of Archie Cooley, the gunslinger for a lot of people. They may not even know about that guy. That's a throwback for you, Archie Cooley, the gunslinger who was at Mississippi Valley. But, you know, even Rick Cummings, when he left Jackson State and all that happened, he was successful at Tuskegee, which is a small program in the middle of nowhere, had able to have success there and then come to Jackson State and went to Mississippi Valley and didn't have success. When I look at Dancy, man, this is a guy who I know his back up against the wall, and I really don't want to say it's his fault. I want to say he's doing the best that he can with what he got. And what he has just ain't enough when you look around in this conference. You look at the investment, especially in that SWAC East, where it is tough when you talk about FAMU, first of all, and Jackson State. I think last year you saw them have opportunities to close in, but it's that depth. Once again, it's the experience. And I think for Mississippi Valley, the depth and the experience just isn't there, nor is the support that they would need to take it to the next level. And unfortunately, he has his name on this list, but if I was him, I'd get out before it's too late. I'd say, you know.
Listen.
I smell smoke. I'm not finna sit in this house while it's on fire. I'll vote.
In the military, they say cut sling low. You know what I'm saying? Cut sling low. We out of here. You know what I'm saying? Pull ripcord. Eject. Yeah, you got to get up out of here. That is our coaching records for the hot seat. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be back. Got some mid-season grades for you, as well as the review of the upcoming game for PV, the return of Dooley, right next.
Get your pickup orders at the same time as your prescriptions at Walgreens.
When we invest in ourselves, we're investing in what's next for all of us. Growing, creating, making moves that move us all forward. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
You just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years.
We got iPhone 13s too. Switched 2 minutes ago, literally right before this.
iPhone 13 on us on any unlimited plan for every customer, with plans starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
That but Cadillac look nice. That joke very expensive, but it looks nice. Hey, so let's start off. We're gonna get to some SWAC East mid-season grades. All right, Perry, we're gonna go. You're gonna go, then I'm gonna go, then you're gonna go. I'm gonna go. So Alabama State offensive, defensive grades. What do you give them for the mid-season?
Overall, I look at Alabama State winning that game against Howard 23-13. Beating Miles 21-13. Of course, they beat down going to Pasadena to UCLA 45-7. That was a money game. But then that tough loss to Prairie View, even with all Prairie View had to go through and travel, not being able to get it done. And Alabama State, quiet as it's kept, was hard to really kind of beat at home. They had a good little win streak at home. And then it's shaking back and then going on the road against Texas Southern to get the victory. Sitting at 3-2 right now. Offensively, I would probably give them a D-. I think Bama State, when you bring in that quarterback from Houston North Shore, transfer from Auburn, I would have expected a little bit more excitement, but I'm realizing they don't quite have the guys and the pieces maybe around him right now that he needs. So I would give them a D grade. Defensively, I would say let's go C+. I mean, you held Howard to 13 points. You held Miles to 13 points. You held Texas Southern to 13 points, and you gave up 25 points to Prairie View. So I would give them a C around that range, C+.
Offensively, I would go C-. Defensively, I'll go B+. They haven't really got blown out other than UCLA. They've always put in a good effort defensively. Offensively, they have struggled consistently. Like it's been a sputtering offense, even with Demetrius Davis or Miles or Crawley coming in there. They just haven't really seen to take that offense to the next level. So C- offensively, B+ defensively.
Yeah, they barely with that GPA. They like right on the cusp of that 2.0.
Yeah, it's just literally right there. Jackson State's really simple for me. It's really, I don't know what else you could give them. If you want to nitpick, maybe an A-. Defensively, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But you can't even do that because Bama's ain't been scoring. So just A overall for both of Jackson State if you want to nitpick.
I mean, they put up the points. Shedeur Sanders is finding a way to get the ball to his receivers. They don't do anything complicated at all. They just nickel and dime you up the field. Shedeur gets the ball to his receivers and allow that one-on-one space with a defender, and then they just allow the talent to take care of itself. Defensively, they don't let you do nothing. 3 points against FAMU, 3 points against Tennessee State, 7 points against Valley, and Grambling getting the most points. And you look at those points Grambling was able to get, taking advantage of the turnovers in that game. Outside of that, they put up 59 points, 66 points, and 49 points. That sounds like an A to me.
Yeah. Ain't no if and buts about it. Bethune-Cookman, what do you got for them, Perry?
Ooh, taking that tough loss to start the season against Miami, 70-13, then losing to South Carolina State, a game in which I thought they could have won. Once again, I don't know the state of what this program is. South Carolina State, they lose 33-9. Then they get a surprise victory over Grambling, 36-19. What the hell happened there? That really surprised me. And then losing at homecoming for Alabama A&M last week, 35-27. I think when you look at this team offensively, I got to give a D-. I think when you look at trying to figure out who are they going to be and can they put themselves in positions to score 13 points against Miami, 9 against South Carolina State. But you saw an uptick in the last two games, 36 points against Grambling and 27 points against Alabama A&M. But defensively, I would give this team all the way around probably a D. I'll give them a D+. How about that?
Jesus. Offensively, I got to go with a D. They don't know who they are. And even though they put up points, if you watch the games, it's not a full-fledged offensive attack. It's short fields, it's pick sixes, kickoff returns, you know what I'm saying? Fumbles, a scoop and score, like just little itsy bitsy type stuff that happens throughout the game. Nothing consistently to where Jalen Jones is just driving up and down the field on you. Quayshawn Bird is up and down the field, or Kamari Everett is killing you in the passing game. So for me, offensively, I got to go D. Defensively, I'll go C-. I think they have some things defensively that they can get better at, but I think they're pretty decent at defense. So what's that come out to, like a C+?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Bethune-Cookman right now, if they have to come talk to the teacher at midterms, you're going to have to probably do a little bit extra homework and some extra credit if you're looking to try to pass this course.
Absolutely. Alabama A&M. Listen, defensively, I got to give you guys a C+. B-. Like, you're on the fringe of a B-, C+, because, hold up, you got to understand. Listen, they held, you're looking, you got to watch these games. They held Troy to about, the game got away from them. But
it was like 7-3 or 10-3 going into halftime.
And it didn't get away from them until the fourth quarter. And it was Defensively, they were playing out of their mind. Austin P, which was running the score up on people, it was like 7-10 or 7-3 going into the fourth quarter or to the end of the third quarter. So defensively, they have been holding it down for Alabama A&M. Offensively, Jesus Christ, it's got to be like a D minus. It's so, I mean, like it's a D minus. So B minus defensively and D minus offensively. Like that's where I'm at with Alabama A&M, because
you gave these people a B in defensively.
Absolutely. If you watch Troy and Austin P, there's no reason that you couldn't see that the defense is taking a step forward, and that if they win both games if offensively they could score. If you go back and watch that Troy game, they got like 3 possessions in the red zone or outside of the red zone and messed it up every single time. Every single time. Austin P, they couldn't drive the ball against Austin P. So for me, you can only ask your defense to do so much. You really can. And they've been asking their defense to do a lot for them. So for me, I know the FAMU game. People say the FAMU game. I get it. I can let you have an outlier or whatever. But for the teams that they play out of conference, they play them damn good. So I gotta give them a B minus. That's just me. B minus, D minus on the defensive side. I mean on the offensive side.
Anybody step foot on the HBCU campus or any campus, when you talk about signing up for classes, you always ask, what teacher should I take? Which one of these teachers should I take? You that teacher I want to take, Scotty. Hey, you're a little lenient, man. I need to take your class. I probably wouldn't fail your class, man. You'll look out for me. You'll see some effort in me. I like that. When I look at them, 59-0 loss to UAB, 38-17 loss to Troy, a 28-3 loss to Austin P, a 38-25 loss to Florida A&M, and a 35-27 victory to Bethune-Cookman. I'm not impressed. I get what you're saying. I do. But even coming into SWAC play, I'm not impressed right now with Alabama A&M overall. This is a team, once again, that I have considered, I thought could be a dark horse. I know there's a lot of turnaround when you lose a Quill Glass, but it seems like when you lost the offense, you gained defense. Can they ever get it balanced? And I think not being balanced is what's cost them from even winning a SWAC East title over the years. Right now, defensively, I can go C minus. I mean, you still giving up 38 points to FAMU, and you still gave up 27 points. You still gave up 35 points to Alabama A&M. So I don't know. I'll give them a C minus. Offensively, this might be my first F on the season. I got to give them an F. I think just right now it doesn't seem to be there. I give them an F. You know what? D minus. How about that? I give them a D minus.
How do you give them an F?
I mean, you just discussed. You saw the struggles in those games. If they get any type of offense, and they are in those games, then you just not say that?
Yeah, I get it. But an F, I mean, like, to me,
D minus at best. D minus.
Yeah, D minus. An F? God, if we asking what teachers not to take, Jesus Christ.
You don't want Dr. White.
Whoa, my God.
Yeah, you don't want Dr. White.
Jesus Christ. If we talking about Fs, offensively, it's these Bamas. Valley, F. Offensively, if you talk about, dude, they probably, hell yeah, you got to get these Bamas an F for offense.
So you want to go where?
Valley? Oh, they got to get an F. Got to get an F for offensively. Defensively, I'll give them a D minus, C. A C minus? Oh, jeez. Nah, I gotta go D. Yeah. I gotta go D. Yeah, I gotta go D.
They don't even seem to be that same hard-nosed defense that they were last year. This defense right here, you give up 29 points to Tarleton, you give up 41 points to Austin P, 28 points to Delta State, in which I thought that was a winnable game. 49 points to Jackson State and 34 points to FAMU. And in all of that time, you scored 7 against FAMU, 7 against J State, 17 against Delta State, no points against Austin Peay, and only 13 against Tarleton. Yeah, unfortunately, this might be the one grade that you may not pass my class if your name is Mississippi Valley. That's that when I pull your midterms right, I may give you that talk and say, man, you may want to think about dropping it. You may want to withdraw and try to want to take this in the summer.
Oh man. FAMU. Fam.
And I'm gonna say this because to me, the SWAC is not that good this year. There's a couple teams, and then it's like the rest of the conference. So yes, I am grading harsh because I watch FCS football. I watch a lot of football. A lot of these teams just aren't good to me. And I'll just be real. I know a lot of people got pride. I got my own pride. These teams just aren't good in this conference this year.
Yeah.
FAMU, you want to go there? I'll let you start.
C's all around for me. It C's all the way around for me. I don't. There's really no idea. I don't know what FAMU is. I really don't. And that's why, to me, I got to give them C's all the way around because you get mollywopped by Jackson. You barely beat Albany State. You barely beat A&M. And you're supposed to be the second best team. And I'm not seeing second best team in the SWAC East. Your record might say it, but I'm not seeing it on the field. So for me, it's C's all the way around. It's just that simple. C's all the way around.
3-2. 56-24 loss to North Carolina, 59-3 shellacking to Jackson State. But then this is where I thought, with all of those issues that they had to deal with coming into this with the eligibility, I took that into account. I really considered that. And then you look at a 23-13 victory over Albany State, 38-25 over Bama A&M, and 34-7 over Valley. I think FAMU is one of those teams where they have enough talent to finesse. And when you finesse, I give you a C because that's what you do when you're in college. When you finesse, you can show up sometime, put your name on the roll. FAMU is that finesse team.
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy.
I think they have enough talent along with Willie Simmons to finesse their way through some of these lower teams that I think are just not that good. And I think just off the talent alone that they stand a little bit higher than struggling for those other ones. Fam, you don't have to come see me after class. They all right.
That's a good analogy. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get to the SWAC West. Oh, man. You do the honors. Pop it off with your boys, UAPB.
UAPB.
How about this? After this one, give both divisions an overall grade because this is going to be different. But go ahead.
Well, do this for me. Pull this up if you can once we're done. Pull up the SWAC division standings, and then we'll look at it from there.
All
right. So start with the Golden Lions of UAPB. Hey, I like UAPB. I grew up around UAPB, but I also am a smart man, and because I'm smart, I know to move on sometime to find better opportunities. And I think for you, so I think UAPB. Hey, when everybody get up after class, you say, "Hey, UAPB, see me after class. Need you to come talk to me." Day one, you got to see me after class. I think offensively with Skylar Perry, if they had anything else to really compliment him, at least one or two decent receivers, at least two good guys in the backfield. They got the O-line. UAPB, man, I just get them an overall grade. I won't even do offense, defense. They get a D- right now. They got to come see me after class. They need to do a little bit extra work. Right now, at this point, they 2-3. I'm not speaking. I can't predict if you're going to do your work as the semester go on. But right now, you don't have to drop my class. It looked like you may try. If you try just a little hard, it looked like you may try.
That is nepotism at its finest.
You ain't never been to an HBCU?
Dog, you know his parents. That's the only reason you're giving this guy a D. These Bama's get Fs. Are you kidding me? Fs.
Not owing anything. They won 2 games, because it was against Lane or North America. Lane did go beat Tennessee State. I got to at least put something next to that. Whether you like it or not, North America ain't sexy. No. They did play at least a good half a football against Alcorn. And they got obliterated by Southern. I will give them a D.
Oh, you're effing. No, we need to come talk. College is not for you. Go get a trade, okay? Go find a trade. Electrician, plumber, HVAC, college is not for you, my boy. Are you
Once again,
serious?
you the teacher I told you want to take. You the teacher I want to take because UAPB's 2-3, Bama 1-4, Bethune-Cookman's 1-3, Valley's 0-4.
Look at the schedule.
I got you. But I can only grade off the work that you have in front of you. The work that they have in front of them, I give them a D-.
Oh my God.
Everybody don't like the grades you get on your paper when it's in red.
It's only because you know the parents. Like, oh yeah, they're good
No,
kids.
whose parents?
UAPB, you know UAPB's parents.
I don't even know what that means. What the hell does that mean?
It's like like when I was in the military, right? When I went to my duty station, one of the sergeants was looking out for me because he served with my mom. You get what I'm saying? So he was looking out for me.
I don't know anybody on this team.
No, it's you have allegiance to UAPB. You're from Arkansas. Your mama's an alum. That because you have an affinity for them. What are you talking about?
So you're gonna sit here and come in my class and argue with me about giving them a D, and you want them to fail?
They are
Two wins count for something.
No,
I don't give a damn who it's against.
No.
You won those 2 games.
No, sir.
You get a D-.
No, sir. No, sir. That's like playing lane is like playing North American University is like putting your name on a paper. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
Remember, that was not their fault. Your boys at Jackson State set them up. Remember, that wasn't their fault. So they had to be graded for what they had to deal with. That was not UAPB's fault. They thought they had Jackson State week 2.
Go get a CDL. College is not for you, okay?
Well, they on that cusp. You're gonna have to show me you really want this. You don't have to really drop this. I would say consider, but you're not in a position like Valley. Today will be your last day seeing me. UAPB, at least they showing me. That's one of them situations where you can stay or you can go, but you feel like, hey, I at least got some type of a shot to at least get a C.
KJ's honest. KJ's honest. I'm from Arkansas. My mom.
She gave it the same as me, a D.
Do you not read the beginning of the sentence?
Yeah, but I'm looking at the D. I don't care about everything before that comma.
Oh my gosh. Boy, y'all. Wow.
Leave me alone, man. This is my grade. Give me your grade. You said an F?
F all the way around. F's. Fail.
Respect.
Fail. CDL, my boy. CDL. This is about to get ugly. You want to go up? You want to go to the right? You want to go down? What you want to do?
Shit, it's like tic-tac-toe. I think it ain't going. Either one might be a bad move. Let's go black and gold again. Let's go to the side. Grambling.
Defensively, a D. D minus. I'm talking about like 62, 60. Like 59.9. Like bro, I'm gonna give you a 60 for real.
Whoa.
Offensively, C minus. And the reason I'm going C minus is because I watched the Bethune game. They moved up and down against Bethune. They just had bad turnovers. Jackson State, they put 24 points up on Jackson State. Who else they played? They beat Northwestern State. That's better than North American University. Let me say that. All right. They beat them. They get drugged by Arkansas State. So C minus for me offensively, D defensively.
1-4 on the season, 58-3 loss to Arkansas State. A surprise victory, 47-21 over Northwestern State, 66-24 to J-State, 36-19 loss to Bethune, and 34-14 to Bethune-Cookman. Grambling, you're going to have to come see me after class, man. I'm going to have to give Grambling a D+. I think Grambling gets a D+ offensively and defensively, if you ask me. I mean, they shown some bright spots, but they not enough. This does not excite me when I look at the body of work that you're turning into me. I gave UAPB a D-. I give Grambling a D+. This body of work does not impress me.
I look at it like I've seen, watching the games, I've seen what they could be,
That ain't what you look. That don't ultimately give you your grade though.
You talk about, you said my grade, right? Just
okay,
like
so you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Respect.
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Because clearly your affinity for Arkansas came into play with that.
I gave them a D-. They got one more victory than Grambling, and I still gave Grambling a higher grade.
I'm giving Grambling a C- offensively.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll just leave it as that. That's how I look at it. Like, they put up 24 against Jackson. You can't take that away from them. You know what I'm saying? So just with no quarterback.
These teams ain't that good to me. I just put it like that. So, and because they not that good, that's why I'm going these Ds. These teams wouldn't even be no Cs against some other FCS opponents. We seen what we look like out of conference. I'm grading against each other in the conference, but I'm also looking at overall what these teams could be. I'm not impressed when you have these type of outings against other conference opponents, and we naming all these conference opponents that barely got 2 wins on the season. That don't impress me, and I'm not impressed with that, regardless of whatever potential you have. Grambling, come see me after class. You got a D+ in red with a circle, and you almost right there where I think you might need to come. Grambling might need to drop this course.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't understand how not.
I wouldn't go that far.
The man took the G off the helmet. You don't need anything else. He took the G. He said they got to earn the G. Never have I ever in the history of Grambling heard anybody say the football players got to earn the G because they need to put it on the helmet. Yeah, they earn it by going out there on the field, but that lets you know where they at when they take the G off the helmet. Come on.
I gave him a D-.
All right. I'm not. I guess I'm just,
I mean, yeah, I gave him a D-. Alcorn. Oh man, this is fun. Offensively, a B+. Defensively, a C+. Yeah. Offensively, a B+. I might go B- like KJ. I might go B-. They really don't have great quarterback play. It's really all running the ball. So yeah, B- offensively, C+ defensively.
Alcorn 2-2 on the season, 31-27 lost to Stephen F. Austin. I thought they should have won that game, but you go into a delay. That hurt when you go into that delay. 52-0 lost to Tulane. Just got their ass whooped. 30-19 victory over McNeese. I got to give some points for this. The first SWAC school to beat McNeese State. And then finding a way once again for the second consecutive year to come back against UAPB in the second half when they back was up against the wall. Aside from that weather delay against Stephen F. Austin, offensively, I would have to give Alcorn a B-. I think they got back to what their bread and butter. Now Felix Harper is going to run the damn ball. And nobody at one time could do it any better. Yeah, McNeese could be garbage. It is what it is. Hell, even when they was garbage, other SWAC teams couldn't beat them, right? So even with Alcorn being able to do that, defensively, I give them a C-. Overall, I think they get just a flat-out B in my class.
Yeah,
that non-conference game against Stephen F. Austin, I'm not going to lie, I was a little impressed when I heard what the score was, and I know what it's like to take momentum away from a team when you got a long weather delay, and it's kind of tough to get yourself back to that excitement of being up. But I like what I see out of them, and the way they came back against UAPB, hey, you gotta beat Alcorn.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I probably go with a B- overall. That's where I'd be at overall. Yeah. All right, Texas Southern. You can pop it off. I popped off Alcorn.
Wait, is this the first B that we've had? Everybody's been like CD. Everybody's been at damn near academic distress. We're talking about eligibility here is in question, right?
Facts.
So we got an A with Jackson State. We got a B with Alcorn. Alcorn, I can give you a B. Where are we going? Who did you say?
Texas Southern.
Shit, Texas Southern. Look, I don't want to have to tell it to you, but you might want to drop this course as well. They can't stop no damn body on the ground. When you let a team complete 2 passes and still beat you, man, shit, you don't deserve to be in my course. You probably go take Mr. off scripts class with Dr. White.
You know, don't be throwing me out there. You know what I'm gonna do.
You're very lenient, so Mr.
I watch the games. I watch the games.
I got you. I look at these games. I go back and I watch stuff, and I get it. But you're watching them against other opponents that aren't really that good themselves, and so it ain't like we get an opportunity to really grade them hard. You're just grading them because you see who they playing against ain't good too. So you're just watching two ain't good people, and you're trying to grade them. I'm watching like I don't give a damn if who you playing to get ain't good. You not good. Both y'all damn near need to come see me.
I just need you to keep that same energy for the last team. But continue. Continue.
Yeah, I'm real tonight now. Hey, I got pride, but I'm real.
Okay.
So Texas Southern, because you got that win against Southern, you get a flat out D. I want to fail them. I want to fail them bad. Ooh, I'm itching to fail their ass, but I'm itching to fail their ass. But you know, you got me with that victory against Southern, and you still may be alive against UAPB this week. So I got to give you a D. I ain't gonna fail, even though a D you got to come back. I'll give you a D for now. You're holding on by a string, TSU.
Defensively, an F, flat out. Oh, flat out. Now, they played a hell of a game against UTSA, but it wasn't enough to get away from that F. Flat out F.
Hell, you hold Southern to 0. Shit, I got to.
It don't mean too much to me. It don't mean too much to me.
Right.
Straight up F defensively. Offensively, I'll go D+. I'll go D+. I don't know who does D+, but I'll give him a D+.
I told you, bro. You the one they wanted. When they show up, they say, man, who I need to take for this sports management class? Oh, man, you want to take Mr. Gotti. You don't want Dr. White. Dr. White hard as a motherfucker. You don't want him.
Listen, D+ offensively because, one, everybody!
I've been waiting on it. Hit it one more time. Say it a little louder for the people in the back of the auditorium.
Andrew, buddy. All right. That's the only reason. Andrew Body and Ladarius Owens are the only reason they get a D+ because of the potential that they are and how they impact the game. Other than that, it would be an F all the way around. It just really would. But I can't do my boy Andrew like that because I know, man, coaching. If it was coaching, it's an F. But yeah. So overall, D-. D-.
Yeah.
All right. PV. Ooh, this is gonna be a good one. I'll pop it off for you. PV. I think.
You speaking on them like they're your lifelong fan. Like that's just. I don't know where to begin when I want to describe this good friend of mine.
Because okay, let me talk my thoughts out, right?
Okay.
I was about to say F. Somebody said an A. I was about to say fuck no. Like I would anything. Are you out your cotton picking mind? Talk about some A. I don't even. This is what it has offensively. And defensively, they don't do anything special. And then it kind of reminds me of what you've been saying. You've just been the best of the worst. But I have to give credit what credit is due. Offensively, C. Defensively, B+. That's where it is for me. So offensively, a C. Defensively, a B+.
I have to agree. I mean, if it wasn't for their run game, shit, they would be in trouble. I mean, the passing ain't there at all. They're one-dimensional, as it is. But the run game has been there for them, and it's amazing to see them go from this pass-heavy team to now this run-heavy team under Bubba McDowell. They got that 40-23 victory over Texas Southern, completed 2 passes, man. When have you heard of that? Back in the 1940s, you know, only completing 2 passes and still convincingly beating a team. But I think a game that caught my attention against Abilene Christian, a game that I think got away from them, 21-13. Abilene Christian is no easy outing, and for them to be able to fight there, especially with everything that just occurred, the loss of a coach, the loss of some players and just considering what the transition last year, I thought they fought hard in that game. Incarnate Word, just a better team led by Lindsey Scott Jr. as their quarterback. They're one of the best teams. That team, Incarnate Word, went and beat Nevada in double overtime. So yeah. I put respect on that team. They beat Prairie View 31-14. Prairie View still fought hard in that game and then getting the victory 25-15 on the road to Bama State, and then continuously having his dominance over Grambling now 34-14. PV, I get him overall high C plus, low B as of now. They have impressed me. When you talk about most improved student, I got to give an award for most improved student. I probably give it to PV because I don't think anybody saw them in this position and the way that they've gone about it. I don't think anybody has seen. I didn't see this coming at all. I did not. I had a lot of questions with Bubba McDowell. I never thought I would have saw them commit to the run the way that they did, and I didn't think their defense would come out and play as well as they were going to play so far this season. So I give them most improved award, and I think they're high C plus, low B.
How they get a most improved? They went to the SWAC championship last year.
Well, I give them most improved because shit, I thought they was gonna fall off. I thought they passed one test and was finna fail the next. So they get most improved for me. I mean, I didn't see this coming.
Okay. I just didn't think you could go most improved with somebody who went to the SWAC championship last year. But okay, anyway. All right.
You ended that season on a 4-game losing streak, too. Just because you went to a SWAC championship is just a title. That's just saying you the hall monitor don't make you important at school. You just asking me, do I got a damn pass? That's all it is. You're not important. Right? All right. You feel me? They ended the season on a 4-game losing streak, and now to be in this position,
Listen, I don't know why you guys are in my comments talking about that I said PV was trash. And I meant every word when I said it. Like y'all act like y'all hurting me because you're like, Scotty, you said we were gonna be trash. I was hoping y'all was gonna be absolutely garbage. It hurts my soul that you guys can come in my chat and say, oh my God, Scotty, we're winning. Like, it bothers me because you should be trash. You should be. Absolutely. Boring ass offense, basic ass defense, and you put it in the SWAC. Like, miss me with that. But anyway, go ahead, PV.
I like PV.
I don't. Southern,
and I think because of liking PV is what makes this next one good because of the matchup. Southern, let me tell you, 86-0 against Florida Memorial. I wasn't too impressed. I was like, okay, I understand the level of competition. All HBCUs ain't equal. All right. Then that loss to LSU. Even though it was 65-17, I was checked out of that game with 5 minutes left in the first quarter when it was 37-0. It was just completely out of hand, and I didn't see a team that even competed. I'll leave it at that. Not too much on my Jaguars. But this next one made me too much on my Jaguars. 24-0 to Texas Southern. That hurt my soul. That's one of the ones where I thought you was going to possibly be one of those good test takers in my class. And then I look at this and you don't get nothing right on the test. Like, damn, did you even study? Like I really got to pull you and ask you, is everything all right? Everything okay at home? That's where we was at for Southern after that. Hey, is everything okay at home? Do you need to talk about something? Do you need to talk to anybody? I say, give me some time. And then this game against UAPB 59-3, still wasn't impressed, but a victory is a victory. The first victory over a Division I opponent on the season, although you're 2-2, Southern right now, real offensively, I probably have to give C+C. I hate to sound that way, but I'm not impressed yet. Still some things I got to see, some growth and development. I'll give a low C, a high D. Defensively, so far, I will give a C+. I think what you saw against UAPB and I think what you saw in the second half against Texas Southern, it excited me. And then as well as what they did against Florida Memorial. Against LSU was just completely outmatched. But I will give a C+ for the defense. Offense, D+, C-.
All right, so this one, I'm most likely I'm rocking with your same aspect, but let me say this. The only thing that the only thing that saved y'all from getting an F for all offense for me is the LSU game and how good Gerard Sims looked at that game. Because other than that, you guys have looked atrocious. I'm not even counting the Lane game. The Lane game is like high school. I ain't even that game is a wash for me. I don't even care about that. So for me, the LSU game is the only thing that kept it from like a D minus, or straight like 60, 62, 63, because I don't know what you guys are.
It hurts when your grade point average, when you take that test, they didn't show up for the Texas Southern. So that's basically when you got a 0, you missed that test.
Yeah.
That's a direct blow to your GPA. When you go somewhere offensively and you score 0 points, I have to take that into account. That's a direct blow to the GPA. And because of that, that's why I'm at with that C, D+. You got to make up for that as the semester go on.
For me, offensively, I'm right where you at. D minus, C plus. Offensively, D minus. Defensively, C plus. I like the potential that they have. I think they can take it to the next level. But yeah, so D
overall, you're passing right now. You gotta see this weekend to show me a lot. And this weekend, you're going against one of the better students in the class, Prairie View. I would like to see who's gonna win between this one.
All right, this is the overall divisional records.
Can you blow it up a little bit bigger?
Yeah, I got you. Let me zoom in.
Yeah. There we go.
All right, so let me see. Slide this over. All right, so you got Jackson at 4-0. You got are we doing conference or overall?
We can do both. We just look at them conference and overall together.
All right, well, you got 5.
Because some of these victories will be either West and East divisional games, cross-divisional games.
Yeah, it definitely goes to the East because y'all got 2 people that have no conference wins. Yeah, 500, 500, 500, 660, 1,000, 1,000, 5. Oh, that extra.
Them high percentages. Come on, Professor. See, we talking grade scales. You got to factor in those percentages.
Yeah, it might balance itself out a little bit, but those 2, 3, and 2s though.
But them zeros kill you every time.
Yeah.
Damn. When I look at that grade book, you remember that old school grade book with all those different colors that the teachers used to use for pens? It'd be green, red. You can't help but see them zeros in that book, man.
If I'm going off this record, I think I would have to give the East a B+, and I have to give the West a C. Maybe a C- because of these last 2 right here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's look at the matchups. Bama State got a victory over Texas Southern. Bethune-Cookman got a victory over Grambling. Those are 2 West Division teams, right?
Yeah. A&M over Grambling.
Huh?
A&M over Grambling. You said Bethune over Grambling.
Yeah. So
Alabama State over Texas Southern.
Alabama State over Texas Southern. You know, from the West, who has beat somebody from the East besides Prairie View?
Nobody.
Prairie View with the lone victory over Alabama State, 25-15. Outside of that, it ain't there.
It's not. Oh man. So, oh Jesus.
Am I boring you, man, or am I boring you out?
Oh no. All right, let's.
Yeah, we would have to go to the East, man. The East right now looks to be. Right now, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. They said the West average. My boy Black Paul is doing the. He said the West average is out to 4.72. He'll probably do the other one too for the East.
We got a teacher's aid in here today. That's what we need. Teacher's aid.
Always. All right. Listen, real quick. Let's knock these out so we can get up out of here. All right. Okay. Southern's game plan for PV. Because listen, this is the game right here. All right, Southern's
gonna hear a lot of defense, Jags defense.
All right, what do you got? What's the game plan for Southern going into this PV game?
You better get out here with your mind right. Prairie View is gonna try to make this a hostile environment, which I don't know. Can you do that with the amount of fans that show up to their games? But Southern is going to have to come in and establish themselves as a offense with an identity. But Sean McCray is going to have to be able to find a way to elude the pressure that Prairie View's defense is going to put on him. And I think the run game is going to have to be there for Southern in this ball game. Those receivers for Southern are going to have to be there in this ball game. I think Southern O-line will be able to hold up, especially against Prairie View. But this is going to be a matchup where I think Bashawn McCray is going to be crucial. But neither one of these teams, if you look on the other side for Prairie View, they can't pass the ball. I just hope that won't be the day. And when I look at the success that Southern's defense has had against last week against UAPB, against two quarterbacks that couldn't throw the ball, I like my chances with Southern's defense against this quarterback and possibly putting pressure to him, maybe forcing some turnovers if Prairie View does decide to throw the ball. But I think for our defense, the main thing is going to be, can you stop Prairie View's run? Last week, you stopped Kayvon Britton, who came into that game, the second leading rusher in the SWAC. And then you look at the idea that this team only gave up 5 or less rushing yards against UAPB. That's a good way to make me feel going into a game in which a team can run the ball a lot. I think for Prairie View, they're going to have to find a way to establish that run because they're not a team that can a balanced offense. They won't be able to throw and pass. And I think they're going to rely heavily on their offense. So when I look at this ball game, Southern's going to have to find something out of Bashawn McCray. I think if Bashawn McCray can have Southern to be the balanced offense, both with his arm and with Southern on the ground with his run game, I like Southern's chances in this just because they have a little bit better opportunity. Even though Bashawn McCray isn't the best passer, I still give him a better shot than I do when I look over on the other side and I look at Conley.
I think this is going to be the battle of the legs. Neither one of these quarterbacks have a great arm. I think Conley's a better passer than Bashawn McCray, if I'm being honest. I think the key is for Southern's defensive game plan is to stop the QB keeper. Because what seems to happen is a lot of teams, they'll stop PV's initial attack with the run, but they always get caught up in that QB keeper, and he scatters out for 5, 10, 15, 20 yards and keeps a drive going because you get so used to him, Jaden Stewart, them pounding the rock up the middle, and then at one time you crash in on the backside DN, and then you see Conley get loose. You got to stop that.
Would you say Conley athletically is better than Andrew Body?
Conley? Andrew Body? No.
I like the way Southern in the second half found a way to put pressure to Andrew Body. I think Southern can contain the quarterback if need be and do what they need to do in this ball game. But overall, I think this is a mental game as well. We always talk about physical, but I think mentally, when you look at mentally how Prairie View is going to feel looking at their coach and coaches on the other side of this sideline, there's going to be some chips on their shoulder. And then you talk about bringing players too. Reggie King and Jason Dumas coming over from Prairie View. There's going to be a lot of animosity, a lot of excitement behind this. But for Southern, go in, and Coach Dooley said it in his press conference early this week, business mindset. You got to go in, but I think you got to have some type of energy and excitement. And I think Southern was going to feed off of that with the crowd. We talked about the Jaguar Nation last time I was on here. Southern shows up big in Houston. I think they show up big for this game. And I think that gives that extra bit of energy that they're going to need in this ball game that they didn't have up in Arlington.
So before I was interrupted, I just man, Jesus, can I get a point out?
I'm passionate about Southern, baby.
I say QB keeper, and then next thing you know, you on another 10-minute rant. I'm like, Jesus, my next point, you gonna cut that off too. So for Southern, like I was saying, for PV, is Southern stopping Conley's QB keeper. That's where he usually gets loose at. For Southern, it's taking advantage of the distance and the defensive style of coverage that they play. That means a lot of wheels, a lot of speed outs, a lot of bubble routes, a lot of screens, stuff to get the ball out of McCray's hands quickly. Let your guys make plays. PV does not play press man. They don't believe in it. They usually play 5, 7 to 10 yards off as a DB. Those should be easy reads and throws for Bashawn McCray to happen. And at the end of the day, you still want to run the ball consistently, even if it's not getting the big breakout yards. You want to keep PV honest and make sure that they're that they're trying to stop the run. And last but not least, listen, Bashawn McCray's legs have to be special. If we're talking about athletically, he's the more athletically gifted quarterback when it comes to running. He can literally take it. Conley can take it the distance, but Bashawn McCray's speed is just on another level for me. So those are just my little Southern things. Stop the QB keeper, take advantage of the distance that the coverage gives you, and make sure Bashawn McCray uses his legs in this game.
And Dooley, kick the field goals if you get near the red zone, man, and it's 4th down. Take the points. That's what keeps Prairie View in games. Field goals. Take the points.
All right. PV's game plan for me, listen, is very simple. I'm always going to tell you to put the game on Bashawn McCray's arm. I'm always going to tell you to do that because at the end of the day, I don't trust it. Stop Southern's run attack. Defensively, listen, if Southern is cooking defensively on that front four, you got to move the pocket. Got to move the pocket. You cannot have Conley just dropping back and allowing that front four to come screaming down at you. You got to get some jet motions. You got to get some you got to get some movement on the offensive side of the ball to get the defense to look and get their eye discipline off. I would tell you don't throw at Harris. Corian Harris, do not throw at that Bama. Don't go. There's a lot of other people you can go at. Don't throw it at him. And for me, I would dare Dooley to beat me. I would dare Dooley to beat me throwing the ball. That's what I would do. I would dare Dooley to beat me throwing the ball, having Bashawn McCray throw 30, 35, 40 times. I would dare him to beat me that way because I don't believe in your quarterback. And if your quarterback goes out there and throws for 275 or 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, go to the middle of the field, shake his hand for a good game. But that's my game plan. What's up for you?
PV's game plan, run the ball and be effective. Don't do too much. Do what works. Don't get outside yourself. Your bread and butter has been running the ball offensively. Continue to do that. Southern's defense has shown if your quarterback can't throw, it'll be a tough day defensively because they'll make those interceptions. On the defensive side of the ball, Prairie View has done a good job at stalling offenses out. And I think for them, if they could put some pressure on Bashawn McCray, I think what you want to do is make him rattled. I would go for that for Prairie View's defense. Get Bashawn McCray rattled early. Get him off his game like Texas Southern did early on, and keep him from getting settled in. He's on the road. This is his first true road game in Division I football in this conference, and they have to make that matter to show what it's like to play at Panther Stadium.
This is the thing I would do if I'm PV. I'm going cover 2. I am going to go cover 2 because I'm gonna force Bashawn McCray to throw it over my head, and I'm gonna stop all that short stuff down. So definitely looking to go cover 2 or cover 3 cloud or however you want to call it, where you got the flat from the DB and and I'm getting too anyway. But I'll either go cover 2, cover 3, or Tampa 2. I would definitely maybe do a Tampa 2 on Dooley in this squad, because I want to take away those short throws for Bashawn and put him in a predicament to where he has to throw the ball over my head and has to be accurate with it. All right, here we go. Who wins, me?
You need to crank up that Southern neck. That's what you need. You play that JSU, get ready, and all that other bull crap. You need to get that Southern neck on your repertoire, man. Come on now.
I don't even know what that means. Southern neck. I don't even know what that means.
You will find out next week. See, you just get your swag hours up. You hadn't even come to the powerhouse yet. Get your swag hours up, and you'll understand. All right. Now, but I'm going with Southern, man, in this ball game. Here's why. Dooley knows this team. He's recruited these guys across the way. His coaches that are on this staff coached these guys last year. Is it the same philosophy? It is not, but he knows these guys. This is his team on the other side of the field, and he knows those guys through and through. He knows their tendencies. He knows what they're good at and what they're not good at. I have to give Dooley an opportunity to show me that, hey, I recruited these guys and I know them. I got my staff here who coach those guys. They know them as well. And I think if Dooley is able to go out there and take advantage of that, I'm going to have to go with Southern in this ball game.
I don't remember who I picked on Monday, but as I've been progressing through this week, I've been leaning more and more towards PV. Sadly, I have been leaning more and more towards PV for this game. I don't know why. You know, I just the PV and the PV-ish thing is kind of coming out of me. I think PV wins this game, and I think they win this game 24-28. 24-28. I think PV wins. Same score. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think PV knows who they are. They're not, and I think when the team knows who they are, I think there's a comfort level into knowing this is what we're going to do, and and this is what we do well. If they stop it, they stop it. If they don't, we're going to run you off the field. And I think Southern does not know what it does well. I don't think offensively Southern knows who they are yet. And I think they're walking into a PV that is comfortable in their own skin and knowing who they are and is going to play to their strength. That's just how I see it.
I'm going 31-28.
31-28. I got 28. Ooh, that's why I said 45-17.
Southern kicks a field goal. We drive late in the game. Southern kicks a field goal, and we kick that sucker, and we win this thing, and we get up out of there 31-28.
All right.
I think it's a ball game the entire time, and we get it late and drive down the field and kick a field goal. Because remember, if you find yourself behind in the game, if you're PV, you're gonna have to abandon that run game. Other thing that's the problem with the one-dimension offense that they have now. If Southern jumps up, they're going to have to abandon that run game, and how long will they be able to survive before it finally catches up to them having to depend so much on that run game?
Catch 22, because it's the same thing that happened with y'all at Texas Southern. When Texas Southern got up on y'all, you couldn't throw yourselves back in the game because you don't have a quarterback that can do that. So it goes both ways. If
it does. That's why I'm saying it from experience.
If PV gets up 14-0 on y'all, I don't have, or 21-0 or 17, so I'd probably like 17, you know what I'm saying? 14 or 17-0 on you guys. I don't trust Bashawn McCray to throw you back in the game. Now, do I trust Dooley to run the ball and still be methodical and balanced? Because the game is not out of hand, but do I think he's going to start getting pass happy? Absolutely. And that falls right into PV's hands when it comes to Bashawn McCray. So I think that's both teams. You want to keep this game as close as possible. 7-3, 7-7, 7-10, 14-7. You know, like you want to keep it like you want to go score for score for both of these teams. Because if any team gets out of hand, neither one of these teams have the quarterback to throw you into a game. But I'll tell you this, I trust Conley more than I trust McCray to do it. That's what I'll say to that.
Third down conversions are going to be key, in red zone is going to be key. But I think more so importantly, third down conversions in this ball game is going to be key when you look at who win. And turnovers. You know, we fell behind to Texas Southern because of those turnovers and not taking advantage of red zone. So I think that'll be key. Having to be smart both from the coaching and the playing standpoint for Bashawn McCray as well as Coach Eric Dooley. But I think it's going to go, like you said, back and forward. I think it comes down, me personally, somewhere down the line, a field goal kicked at the end. I think Southern get it done 31-28.
Hey, guys, I apologize. I would usually take calls, but I have to take my girl out to dinner. I didn't know we were going to go this long. I thought it was going to be like an hour and 15. I was going to take, 15 minutes or whatever. But I got to take my girl out to dinner, so that's why I got to cut this short. But, hey, Pete, let them know where they can find you at.
Now, you can find me if you're on Facebook. I know that's for the old heads. I'm Perry White on Facebook, but I'm Where's Perry on Twitter. You can also follow me on my YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at On the Yard Sports. Keep up with me on there, as well as on Facebook, the Jaguar Journal. I'm on a couple different things. So you got the Jaguar Journal, On the Yard Sports, as well as Perry White and Where is Perry on Twitter.
Hey, you already know, guys. I shout out to my boy Perry for joining me today. Appreciate you. I'll see you down there next Sunday. Yeah, I'll be down in Baton Rouge next Sunday for my girl's birthday. We'll be down at the game. All right, y'all make sure y'all treat her with some, make sure y'all show her a good time because it's her birthday. All right, so tomorrow, me, the Blue Round Table, my boy Blue. right, Thursday, Friday, you already know what it is. Saturday, I'll be at the FAMU South Carolina State game live pregame show at the stadium, at Dawson Stadium. You can catch me there, all right? Listen, guys, until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless.